Hello, here I am in Cavendish Square Gardens again, and I'm standing next to my head with no mouth, so maybe I'll do a little bit of talking for him again. The title of this little video is "What can I do to help my family's mental health?" Here in this Mental Health Week, we're still talking about mental health and the problems it gives to people. And I think it's because we're just not addressing some very basic issues. I've said before, your brain is a big lump of fat. It's 60% fat. So it's clear to me that we are just not feeding it properly. And we've been doing that for quite a long time, because the incidence of mental health difficulties, whether it's for children cutting themselves or having body image problems, all the way through adulthood to Alzheimer's and dementia, something is going wrong. So I ask myself, what can it be? Well, we've fooled around with some of the fundamental raw materials of your body, and that's oils and fats. So you can see if your brain is 60% fat, it's likely that fooling around with those fats is going to have an impact on them. What I mean by this is, as a farmer producing linseed, I've learned a lot about oil and fat. Linseed oil contains good fats, but there's still confusion about what good and bad fats are, and whether you can damage fat in any way. And I think you can, and it is now known that when you heat oil up, you change its characteristics and it doesn't do the job that it's supposed to do in your body, which for your mental health is to create lovely flexible cell membranes so they talk to each other and you have clear communication of thoughts and ideas. And it seems to me that this is where the main problem lies. People don't understand what good fats and bad fats are. They don't understand how to treat fat. So I'm going to tell you what you can do. What can you do? What you can do to help yourself and your family live a better life. And it starts really early on, when you're thinking about making new life. If you're a girl or a couple and you want to start a family, fat is the first thing to think about. Because I guess you've probably heard about girls talking about baby brain. That's because your brain can shrink if you don't feed it properly when you're pregnant, because the baby is going to be taking all of that omega-3 fat out of your brain. So it's really important right at the beginning of life. And the other thing that's important there is your thyroid gland, which helps you produce that brain. It needs iodine, and iodine, a big amount of iodine used to come into our diet through milk, and you need to have pasture-fed milk from cows that eat grass, and the same is true for meat. And then if you eat meat from those kind of animals, you can keep the lard or the dripping from that. That's a good fat that you can cook with, so there's no need at all to cook with any type of oil and change its structure so it's damaging to you. Eat the right kind of meat from animals that eat grass. You will then have meat that is a good balance of the omegas in your body. When animals eat grass, they produce omega-3 in their body. When you start to house them and feed them soya and the byproduct making rape and other sorts of oils, you change the fatty acid balance and they produce more omega-6, which is pro-inflammatory. So really important to understand that. So I'm giving you a strategy right from the beginning of life, how you need to start thinking about these things and what you need to do. Well, what you need to do is you need to be really proactive. If you go into, say, a fish and chip shop, you need to ask them, how are they cooking? And if they're cooking in oil, you must say to them, no, that is a really dangerous thing to do, and don't buy it. Go and buy yourself some potatoes, chop them up fairly coarsely, cook them in lard yourself. You don't need to put lots on them, but the thing is you're not harming that fat by heat. Therefore, you're not going to harm yourself when you eat it. Do you understand that? It's really, really important. So you have the most important role The government doesn't really get this yet, and often they will demonise the wrong kind of fat, like they talk about saturated fat being harmful. Well, it's not harmful. You're an animal. You've got saturated fat in your body anyway. So just start to do something about it. We can do it. We can make that change. We can start to improve the health of everybody by starting to think differently about oil and fat. And you need to start doing this right now. Make it a new resolution of life that you will talk to other people about oil and fat. You won't buy anything that's cooked in oil, and you'll find that almost every restaurant will be doing that. You need to talk to the owner, talk to people about it, say it's a really bad thing to do. You don't have to worry if you're vegetarian, because there's coconut oil. You can use that, and I'm sure you can talk to restaurants and they will be happy to cook in coconut oil if you want vegetarian food. There's just no problem there. There's no excuse for doing the right thing. So get on it today. Start making that change. It wouldn't take very long. For instance, if we all stopped going into fish and chip shops for a week, they would say, what's happening? Why aren't you shopping any more for fish and chips? And you could say, well, it's really, really simple. Start cooking it in a way that's not harmful to us, and then we'll come back. You see how quickly something could happen if we all did something immediate about it. And please do it now. Just one more thing. I'm telling you this because I've learnt a lot about oil and fat, being a farmer and producing my linseed oil, which is one of the good fats. It contains a lot of omega-3, which is essential for every part of life. It's also essential when you're pregnant, because if you get that into your diet, more linseed into your diet, you'll produce more milk, less likely to have a disruptive child, be a calmer child, and you're less likely to suffer from mental issues as well, whether it's baby blues or anything like that. So fat's really important. Get it right. Start doing it today. Okay, thank you very much. Bye.